Welcome, I'm Greg Raleigh. I've come here to introduce to you a new concept and a new show that we've created that's going to talk about food choices, going to talk about exercise, going to talk about economic eating. This show will be covering a lot of people that we've met around the country and a lot of through our network of professional athletes and professional people. But before we get any further, I want to talk about why this show is so important. The health of many people in America is not getting better, it's actually getting worse, as well as the healthcare costs are going up, not decreasing. And we need to know what we can do right now to reverse that. So this show will attack some of those and will approach some of those issues and give you some basic information that you can apply right now. I've spent over 20 years working with individuals of all ages, from all cultures, improving their health. Basically by changing the way we've combined foods and exercise. And so you will hear from many of those people on their success stories. You'll hear from some of those people about what they've learned to do and the highs and lows about trying to eat healthy. This show will we will talk to children, we'll talk to adults, we'll talk to people of all ages about food choices. We will examine, such things as how to reverse diabetes in your children, how to prevent it, how to lose weight or gain weight properly, how to prevent high blood pressure from proper food choices, eating healthy, unhealthy, what are the economics behind it. So we'll be covering a vast array of topics. We will bring a lot of professionals on here from different industries to talk about how eating affects your hair, or it affects your skin, or it affects your teeth. These are all ideas and concepts that is going on with bad food that's affecting our bodies. So we will be working with people throughout the community. We will be talking to people, bringing people on the show. We will be looking for your feedback on the show to tell us how you apply the information. We'll be having contests on the show to challenge you to go out and put this information to practice. Come back and share with us. This is how we're going to build this show. So, as I said, welcome. I'm Greg Raleigh. This show is called It's Your Turn.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future.
My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit.
Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave.
Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Welcome back. As I said, on this show, we're going to make sure the importance of combining healthy eating, exercise, and proper food preparations. We know this is important in helping people understand why they're making mistakes with the food choices that they're currently making. So what I decided to do to reach through my network of professionals, and I discovered and reached out to my esteemed colleague to the left, Helen Beer. Thank you, Helen, for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Greg Raleigh.
And so what Helen has decided to do, and I've asked her to prepare something that's inexpensive, that's something that we traditionally have in our communities, barbecues, things like that, and it's something that they can do to change to make it a very healthy meal. So, Helen, what do we have here?
Today?
Wait, hold up. By the way, I want to compliment you on your kitchen.
Oh,
wonderful, outstanding work.
I am so excited because there's no place like home when it's time to eat.
Hey, you owe me a visit.
I do.
Right.
And I'm going to give you a sample of what you're going to experience if you stop by. You know, with all of this great warm weather, you know that picnics and cookouts and barbecues are right around the corner. Wouldn't it be great to offer something to the table that kind of adds something special to the meats that are typically served? So today, we're not having coleslaw, we're having cool-slaw.
Check you out. Coleslaw, ain't you
coleslaw. We're going to swap out all the unhealthy ingredients, and every single ingredient we're going to put in today has a value to it. So first we're going to start with, okay, this is the word of the day, sucrifice. Okay, I need to pronounce it right. Crucifixus.
Crucifixus. That's good. That's not bad.
That is a category of vegetables that includes cabbages, both red cabbage and purple cabbage. It's your broccoli, your kale, your collards. And so we really want you to have the vitamins and nourishment that comes in these green leafy vegetables and the rainbow, if you will. So today's cool salad, and we can keep chatting as we keep going along, is going to first start with a little dressing. And so I like to start with the liquids first, and then we'll chop up the cabbage later. So we're going to start with something that's going to lower sodium. Who doesn't have a sodium problem these days? And we're just going to add 1 ounce or 2 tablespoons of liquid aminos. Now you know why we put liquid aminos in, right?
No, I do not, but I'm curious to learn.
It looks like what's something else we know, right?
Molasses,
Soy
syrup,
sauce.
soy sauce.
Soy sauce, right? It's not soy sauce. It has 1/5, not 1/3, 1/5 of the sodium of regular table salt. So a lot of folks like to talk about salt. I brought some really pretty, isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, that's
Himalayan sea salt.
Yeah.
Same amount of sodium as regular salt. Don't get too excited. When you see some fancy stuff, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's more healthy, because sodium is sodium. Then we're going to add one of my favorites. It's an orange champagne vinegar, a little extra, dab will do it, that's fine. And to make it a little special, I like pear-infused vinegar.
Pear-infused vinegar.
And we just put a little bit, that's just a little taste in there.
A little something.
And we have the recipe ingredients so you don't go overboard with any of the one ingredients. And then sesame oil. Now sesame oil has some really powerful properties in it. The Mayo Clinic has actually said, and look how rich and delicious that is. This is what we're going to be using instead of the mayonnaise.
Okay.
And instead of the mayonnaise, that's going to be our emulsifier that keeps everything all together, gives it a wonderful nutty flavor. And the Mayo Clinic had reported that it helps to lower cholesterol, lower your risk for heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. So let's go ahead and whisk these together. We got time.
Look it up.
Yeah, it's some good stuff. Can you smell that?
Yeah, I can smell it.
I wish we had smell-o-vision, right?
Yeah.
So it's just really basic, and that's the basis for the dressing. Then we're going to spice it up. You like spice, right?
Spice is good.
Now, I like fresh ingredients, but in a pinch, you can always sprinkle on. And this is just 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/8. You don't like it too spicy.
No, not too spicy. But this is
cayenne.
Good. Okay, look, cayenne. I'm feeling you.
I can't put no more.
I'm feeling you. Okay, that's enough.
Another, a little bit. It's super special. Okay, so we're going to whisk that together, and that's it. That's how simple it is. We're going to add the cabbage and the parsley, and we'll be ready to plate.
All right, it looks good. So what's important for people to know is that these are very basic ingredients that you're probably not aware of, but this is very nice of Helen to try to bring this information to us, because on this show, we want you to be able to take this information, go home tonight, prepare this food, try it tomorrow. It is not expensive, and it's very delicious. And so as we wind down and wrap up this segment, Helen's going to give me a little sample.
So we massage that in, and I've already got some all ready for you. It's so yummy. You might have noticed that I added some other ingredients here over on the side. Let's talk about that really quickly. If we're adding the fresh parsley, which is also part of the ingredients, that gives it a little freshness, and that's what you'll see, the super dark greens there. That is so pretty. And so many people like it a little bit spicier or a little bit sweeter, so we can always add a few raisins on top, and that's just gorgeous.
And so this is what we call healthy eating in our neighborhood. And so I'm going to try this. Excellent, excellent stuff. And so, Helen, I want to thank you for coming to the show. This has been very educational, very beneficial. I'm sure a lot of our fans or a lot of our viewers are going to be in touch with you. And so what we hope is that, Helen, you will come back. We have some other shows down the road. We want you to come back.
We're going to make it sweet next time.
We'll make it sweet next time. Give us something. Right. Give us something different.
That's right.
Okay. So what we'll do is that I'm going to enjoy this when we go into a break, and some of you just going to have to be out because you ain't going to get to have this kind of fun. So we want to thank you once again, Helen, and that we'll be back. And stay tuned.
It's harder whenever there's a bigger group. much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Welcome back. As I said, on this show, I will be introducing you to many people in the community who I think don't get their recognition for the success they've done in working with people improving their health. And so what I decided to do, I was blessed recently by being introduced to our next guest, and he has a dynamic program. And what I want to do is have him come and explain to us some of the common problems that exist in the community that a lot of his clients are suffering from, and a lot of stuff I'm hearing from my own clients. So I'd like to introduce you, Dr. Rodney Ellis. Dr. Ellis, nice for you to be here, sir.
Thank you.
Now, Dr. Ellis is the medical director of the Rosebud Physicians Weight Loss Program. And so what him and I had done recently, we got a chance to have a conversation. And Dr. Ellis, I mean, we talked about a lot of things, but there were two issues that really came up that you said was really, really concerned about you. And the first one was common with most men is erectile dysfunction.
Yes, in fact, I had you come, Greg, to our men's program because in men, especially obese men, they have problems with erectile dysfunction, oftentimes because their male hormone is level. The male hormone level is low. So in fact, I want to show in our first slide that there is a relationship between the brain and hypothalamus where hormones are produced and the testes. So that there's the penis and the testes are shown in our diagram, and the relationship is that the hypothalamus sends signals down to the testes to produce testosterone. Well, it turns out that in obese men, that testosterone is actually metabolized by the fat cells, and it sends a false signal back to the brain that there's enough testosterone, so the brain cuts off its production. So the key thing that I wanted to really have people understand that for male erectile function to work, you need three things to be working. You need to have that testosterone we just talked about. You need to have proper vascular supply to the penis. And you have to have the nerves that are working the blood vessels and working the sensory tissues down there intact. And therefore, there can be diseases that affect each and every one of those areas. And obesity is a big one. And this is why in my weight loss program, I have a lot of men interested in that issue. So if you actually go to the next slide that explains these things a little bit more, you'll see that, in fact, the normal sexual anatomy is shown, where there's the testis is a little bit bigger than it actually normally is, but it's emphasizing that the testis is very important in the sexual function. In a normal erection, in fact, the penis gets blood supply from the release of something called nitric oxide, And when that's, that has to be stimulated by the testosterone, and if that's not an adequate supply, we have problems. If the circulation is not adequate, such as it is with cigarette smoking, hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, those things too will affect the blood vessels and affect the ability to have an erection. And then finally, the nerves can be affected by diabetes, for example, or spinal cord injury or something like that. So to briefly say what occurs in the obese patient, we make sure that their testosterone levels are good. If they're obese, we want them to lose weight so they can get rid of any kind of diabetes or high cholesterol problem that they might have. And then we actually can possibly give them additional testosterone if their testosterone level is low, or we can give them some of the new drugs that we see always advertised on TV, the Cialis, the Testim, all those different drugs that are oftentimes advertised on TV.
And that's my concern, is that having someone like you on here, you could come on our show and you could give us some realistic solutions versus the traditional, everybody goes to the doctor and you take a pill because we know pills have side effects.
Right. So the natural way, obviously, is to make sure that your health is good, that you're not smoking, that your blood pressure is normalized, that your cholesterol is normal, your circulation is good, and those things are the best and natural way to do this.
Well, see, now having Dr. Ellis on the show gives us an insight on the medical side and the science side of how our body works, which many of us take for granted. And usually we wait till it's too late to where we get to pre-diabetic or we get to diabetic status. So what we want to do in this show is give you some things to think about that you can do right now at home to evaluate and examine what you're doing with the cigarettes and the food, things like that. Now, Dr. Ellis will be back in future shows as well, and what we want to do with him is hear from you about some questions you may have, so then he will come back on the show in the future, and we'll be able to fill those questions for you. But Dr. Ellis, once again, I really appreciate it, sir.
It's my
It means
pleasure.
a lot to me.
Okay.
And I'm sure what you just offered our fans and the viewers out there is going to be very beneficial, and people can apply it immediately, and that's what we're asking you to do. So we want to thank you, Dr. Ellis, and we'll be back.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
Welcome back. As I told you on this show, you're going to hear success stories from people that I've worked with for going back 20 years. And so what I decided to do on our first show, or initially the beginning of the show, I thought one of our best success stories would be on here first to tell you what she's gone through. So I'd like to welcome Ms. Rochelle Ford of Borger Realty, Borger Management, right?
Yes, Borger Management.
It's so glad to have you on here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Now, Rochelle, you and I go way back. We started working out together.
Yes.
We went grocery shopping, food label reading.
Yes.
We did stuff. We did outdoor stuff. We did stuff at the park, working together on
Most
your
definitely.
on your website, your internet fitness
and
program.
helped me with starting my boot camp.
Started your boot camp, and so
You came
Rochelle
out and
I,
educated some of my women.
I sure did. And I
Yes,
loved
you
it.
did.
That was a very fun moment.
Oh, it was. It
Yeah.
was.
And so Rochelle and I have been working together, and so Rochelle has a very fascinating story, and I brought her on the show to kind of share with you how this is a daily struggle you have to work with, but you don't give up.
That's
right. The
right.
name of this. Never give up. So Rochelle, let's talk about when you and I met and the progression you've made over the years.
At that time I met you, I was introduced to you by a colleague, and I expressed to you my interest in making a change.
Okay.
And of course, at that time you didn't take me seriously, so
You
I had to
gotta do
lose
that.
Yes, I
Don't
have to
believe
bring
that.
I have to bring that to everyone's attention.
Okay.
But you know, because it's hard to make a change, especially if in fact you've been living a certain lifestyle.
Right.
And so that inspired me to prove to you that in fact I was serious.
Okay.
And when I made that change and I had come back to you, you opened up the book to share your program with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That encouraged me to even more to live a certain lifestyle.
And it's been great. It's been
Oh,
great
yes,
watching
it
you
has.
transform. And so we got to work. We started working out together. Then you went one step further and started doing your own thing on your own. Then
Yes.
you started creating your boot camp. Now, Rochelle got to a point where Rochelle started doing competitions.
That's right.
Fitness competitions. So tell us about that, how much fun that was.
Well, I'll go back to say when I met you, I was about 220-some, almost 230-some
Something like that,
pounds.
yeah.
And when I started my boot camp in 2006, I was at 198 pounds.
Okay.
So that just goes to show you that even though you're a certain size, that didn't stop me, so it shouldn't stop anyone else to pursue what it is that they want to do. And I also had a number of people who believed in me.
Right.
So that also helped motivate me because of your help and others that had seen the change in me from the time that we started, from the time that I initially started, and the time that I started working with you to the time that I started my boot camp. They actually saw a change in me, and they wanted to find out what I was doing.
I remember sometimes you would call me and you would say, Greg, someone's called me and asked me, what is that food plan that you put me on? And I was like, Rochelle, I'm at work. I don't have time for that mess right now.
Right.
And I remember that was the fun part.
Oh, yeah.
And I told you that would be fun part of us going down this road together when people would start coming to us going, what is your secret? What are you guys doing? And it works. So now, let's get to the fitness part because we do have some photos that we're going to show at some point on the show.
Yes.
So tell us about that. That was exciting to see you compete.
Yes, it was exciting, and it was a very exciting experience for me. One that I did not think that I could reach.
Right.
You have to really be careful when you're sharing your dreams because you have people that don't believe that you can do it because they don't believe that they can do it. But, you know, I connected with you and we started training and I expressed to you that I was interested in competing.
Right.
And, you know, I said, well, I need to get with someone, and you encouraged me to do that. And from there, you know, at that time I was 176 pounds, came down to 160, about 64 pounds. And within about, I would say about 9 months, I was ready to compete. And when I hit the stage, I was 127 pounds.
You should have seen the way that crowd loved her. And so this is what we're talking about, is that you have to never give up. You're going to have lifestyle changes. You're going to have changes in your job. Your economics are going to change. These things are real. And what you got to do is learn how to adjust to what you're doing so that we will be on this show and we'll be talking about this issue and how we were successful in getting you back on shape. And Rochelle will be on this show in many series. And so I'm so glad you came.
Well, thank you for having me.
And I'm going to have you back on the show. So we'll be back. So thank you.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future.
My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Welcome back. As I said on this show, that we will be bringing experts that we have identified in the field of health and nutrition and science that we thought would be very beneficial to our fans and getting to understand some of the problems that they're experiencing day to day with foods that you eat at restaurants, foods that you eat at carry-out places, how those foods affect your body and how they're damaging your body internally. And so we reached out to Dr. Wanda Dyson. Dr. Dyson, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Dr. Dyson is internal medicine, director for Change for Life Wellness and Aesthetics. And Dr. Dyson, her and I had a conversation recently about many things, but one we talked about was digestive health is the way she termed it. So Dr. Dyson, explain to me more what some of the things that people are experiencing from with digestive issues.
Well, as you may know, the commercials are always touting that the digestive system houses 70% of our immune system. So that's very important to address 70% of your immune system, which helps you to fight infection and cancer. So what I have been doing in my practice over the last 10 years is doing testing on digestive health, which may involve testing for various infections that individuals may not be aware of, or intolerances to certain foods such as soy, wheat, milk, or eggs.
Yeah, I have a problem with milk all the time. I'm lactose intolerant now, and I don't know how it happened. I don't know where it came from. It just happened.
Well, it's very common in people of color.
And you know, in my family, I have it, but my brothers don't. My sisters don't. I'm the only one of the children that has occurred from. So if that is common problems, what are some quick solutions you can think of that they can do right now, as well as down the road reach out to you for more advice?
Well, if you have an intolerance to the food, avoiding the food is probably one of the better things to do. If there are infections, then I do what I call building intestinal health. And as a part of building intestinal health, I use probiotics, colostrum, digestive enzymes if you need them, glutamine, which helps to repair the digestive tract. And there's a very ancient product called amylase that also helps to build the intestinal immunity. So that might be involved in the protocol.
And so are these the things that people can go to a local store a local health food store, or they can buy this stuff at a grocery store. These are things that they can reach out to right now once they see the show.
Well, they can purchase probiotics at a health food store.
Okay.
You just need to be sure that the probiotics are actually going to be viable once it goes through the gastric juices in the digestive tract, and that there are enough of the viable probiotics in it. Glutamine is also available in a health food store, so you can go there and purchase that. The amla paste may be a little more iffy, but you can go online and order that, as well as colostrum.
Let me ask you real quick. Do you see in your profession more children having digestive issues at an earlier age? Is that because of the fast foods or fast food culture, processed foods?
Well, in all actuality, to be honest, I deal with more adults than children.
Okay.
So I'm not having as much contact with children, so I'm not aware of that.
Are parents describing this within their families when they do family work with you? Do they talk about their children having the same problems they're having? So maybe it's a genetic thing?
Yes. I actually have a patient in my practice who everything that he ate caused digestive pain. He had pain with no matter what food it was. So I brought him in and I did the digestive health panel that I do, and found that he was intolerant of gluten, which is in most products. It's in wheat, rye, oats, and barley. Well, actually gliadin.
Okay.
And he started to avoid those things. He no longer has that issue. But his daughters also have that problem. We have not brought them in for testing as yet.
And see, those are issues that, once again, we're not aware of. And foods that we eat and the environment that we're in sometimes affects our body in ways that we don't even imagine. This is why we wanted to bring Dr. Dice on the show, to expose this and bring this to our attention, because what we're going to do in the future, once again, Dr. Dice, we're going to ask you to come back, because you just did some stuff to me, blew my mind. And I'm like, this is some great stuff. And I know if I can understand it and I can go apply it right now, I know our viewers and our fans are going to be doing that, and they're going to be calling in. I'm sure they will, and they'll be asking me for information. Dr. Dyson will be able, there'll be some information at the end of the show where you'll be able to get in touch with her to find out more if any of these issues you described you're experiencing, because I know some of you are. And so don't hesitate in taking that information, reaching out to her, and maybe Dr. Dyson will invite you to come back on the show in the future to see what progress you've made under her expertise. So Dr. Dyson, once again, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And so I look forward to having you back. So stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
It's harder whenever there's a bigger group. Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
That's our show for today. If you want to see this episode, go to our website, www.foodforfuel.org. I'd like to thank our guests, all the experts. It was truly an educational experience. Very good information. If you want to get in touch with anybody that's been on our show, all you have to do is stay tuned for the show as it concludes, and that information will be provided to you. Once again, thanks for joining us. I'm Greg Raleigh. It's your turn. Good luck. Take back your health.